I want to talk to you today about the link between assertiveness and success in business, because I often think assertiveness gets a bad reputation. It is often connected with being a little bit too aggressive, a bit too bold, a bit too bossy, just being a bit too pushy, a bit too ego-driven, all of which sound fairly negative. But actually, to me, assertiveness in business is about being professional, about being confident, about understanding your standards, about giving a good service, about recognising your boundaries. And it's a really positive business attribute, but it's not always viewed that way. And what I find is very often clients will come to me because they have avoided being assertive in their business. They don't want to be seen as pushy. They don't want to be seen as, being bossy with their customers. But what they've actually done as a result is they've just been much too soft. And they now found themselves in a place where they feel like they're being pushed around a little bit. They don't necessarily feel like they're completely in charge of the business. The business is very much in charge of them. And they really want to make that change and that shift so that they take ownership of that business and really strengthen those client relationships so they become much more about a real partnership and a balance of power, rather than one person kind of having the power, one person being the boss and the other person being their minion. So I'm going to give you an example of 3 situations. That's 3, isn't it, Paula? 3. 3 situations where assertiveness can really make the difference between you being in charge of your business and coming across as professional and fantastic versus being a pushover or being really frustrated by what's going on in your business. So the first one is with your team, and that could be an internal team or it may be external suppliers. But so often what I see is people being nice. They are perhaps a little frustrated with the performance of a team member or a supplier. Things are late, things are not quite on standard, things are just a bit wishy-washy, but they don't want to cause a scene, they don't want to upset anybody, they don't want to be too bossy. So they're just nice about things. But what that nice does is it sets the tone. And the tone at that point says that sloppy standards are actually okay. Being late, well, it's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. And these situations then just perpetuate. So what assertiveness does in that situation is it educates that other person about the standards that are acceptable in that situation. Doesn't have to be bossy, it's definitely not aggressive, but just kind of standing your ground and clearly stating your expectations makes such a difference then to that staff member or supplier having absolute clarity on what your expectations are and then stepping up to deliver to that next time. So that's situation number 1 with your team. Situation number 2, one of the most obvious ones, is awkward customers. And we've all had that situation where a customer is just being a bit of an arse. But you kind of think, I don't want to scare them away. I don't want them to stop paying their bills. I don't want to upset them. I don't want them to say anything bad about me on social media. There's a million different, I don't want them to do X, Y, Z, which leads you to being just too soft and too nice. And that then leads to you being taken advantage of. So with customers, just being very clear about expectations, about deadlines, about standards, about how many million times they can amend something or how many million times they can change a meeting or whatever that is. Just giving customers that degree of clarity, again, educates them about this is the way we're going to work together and this is how it will work best for both of us. And the third situation where assertiveness really is needed is with late payment. Again, this is one of those classic situations where I see so many people be nice about it, and also so many people make excuses. We've got a cost of living crisis, they might be struggling, this might be difficult, that might be difficult. And then more often than not, they come to me a few weeks later and say, I can't believe that person hasn't paid me, and now they're on holiday in the Bahamas for 2 weeks or whatever it is. When it comes to late payment, this is absolutely all about making your standards super clear, making what is acceptable very clear to your customers and educating them to understand how this situation needs to pan out. If you deal quite quickly with a customer who pays you late, then you set a standard that regular late payment is not acceptable to you and your business. Whereas if you're nice, if you're soft, if you're lovely about it, then actually what you're telling them is, I'm not too fussed if you pay us late, and chances are they're going to do it consistently. So this is where assertiveness really draws a line. It puts professional standards into your business. It creates a lot more respect for you amongst your customers and your team, and it will really help you to progress your business rather than getting stuck in these tricky situations all the time. Assertiveness will really help you move forward. If you know you're a little too nice in your business and you need to step forward and be more assertive and be more in control of your standards and educate your clients about how to work with you better, or you need a bit more help to kind of get better performance out of your team, then come and get in touch with me and I can help you with all those things. You'll find me at tailory.co.uk. Thank you.